All right, we're here with Nick Ryan, a Westlake Junior. We're gonna ask him a couple questions about drug trafficking. First question: Which drug has affected your life the most out of coke, weed, and heroin?
To be honest, I don't do drugs, but I would say in my life, a few of my friends have done a lot of marijuana.
Okay.
Smoke, I should say.
All right. Second question: How do you think drug trafficking affects our country negatively?
Um, it definitely gives a negative effect because it can mess up your entire life.
The youth, stuff like that.
The youth, especially.
What age groups do you think are most affected by drug trafficking?
I'd say from like freshman in high school to probably senior in college.
Okay. Would legalizing these drugs have a positive outcome on illegal drug trafficking or increase the violence and chaos?
Um, to be honest, I'm not really sure.
Okay. How do you suggest our government solves illegal drug trafficking?
Uh, I say we got a stricter policy, and we drug test everyone every month.
Gotcha. Thank you, Nick Ryan. Have a good day.
You too.
You too.
Hello, everyone. We're here with Vic Machetta, a high school junior. So, Vic, out of marijuana, cocaine, or heroin, which drug has affected you personally?
I think marijuana because it's the most common in high schools.
Gotcha. How do you think drug trafficking has affected our country in a negative way?
It's affecting the youth and it's ruining their futures and everything that can happen for them.
What age group do you think is affected by this the most?
Definitely the youth and definitely teenagers and young adults.
Would legalizing marijuana help the problem, or would it cause more problems?
I think it could help the problem, but we just need to keep strict regimens on it.
Gotcha. And how do you suggest our government solves the problem of illegal drug trafficking?
They need to be stricter with the rules on the border, especially for heroin and cocaine.
Great, thank you for your time.
Why don't you guys do this?
We are here with Rob Denota, high school junior. So Rob, out of marijuana, cocaine, or heroin, what drug do you feel has impacted your life the most?
Well, I don't do any drugs, but I've seen plenty of fiends here at Westlake for weed, and it's not very good, I don't think, for your health.
In what ways do you think drug trafficking has negatively affected our country?
It's put a damper on our society and our image. I don't think they should be importing it here.
All right, great answer. What age groups do you think are most affected by drug trafficking?
I don't think many adults smoke or do many drugs as often, but parents. But maybe 16 to 25-ish.
Alright. Would legalizing marijuana have a positive outcome on our society and stop drug trafficking, or do you think it would increase?
I actually think it'd be positive, because I feel like less kids would do it if it's not illegal. It's not that much of a thrill anymore, you know?
And how do you suggest that our country dissolve the illegal drug trafficking problem?
I don't got an answer for that. I have no idea.
Thank you for your time. Shake my hand. No, shake my hand. Alright, we're here joined tonight by Miss Avella, a high school teacher at Westlake High School. So, Miss Avella, out of heroin, marijuana, or cocaine, which do you think has had the most effect on society?
I think heroin has had the most negative effect on kids.
Could you elaborate on why you think that?
Because I think it's destroying the youth, and a lot of kids are overdosing and dying when they take heroin.
Okay. How do you think drug trafficking affects our country in a negative way, just in general?
There's a lot of drugs coming in, and no one is watching who's bringing them in and who's buying them and who's making all the profits on it.
That's a good point. What age group do you think is most affected by the illegal importation of drugs?
16 to 21, 22, okay. High school and college.
And do you think legalizing any of these drugs would help solve the problem, or do you think that it would create more problems?
I think it would create more problems because once you legalize one drug, then they're going to want the next drug to be legalized as well.
Okay, and what do you suggest that our government does to kind of put a damper on illegal drug trafficking in our country?
Have harsher punishments for the people when they get caught with drug trafficking.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. We're here joined by Mr. Datchik, a teacher at Westlake High School. So, Mr. Datchik, of cocaine, marijuana, and heroin, which do you think has affected you the most personally?
I don't think, I mean, I had a friend who was a heroin addict. I wasn't a very close friend with him. But as far as I know, I think he got some type of treatment for it and has kicked the habit. But again, I'm not that close to them, but that's the only, I mean, I've known a lot of people that have smoked marijuana, but they haven't been vastly affected by it, just a little, stupid at times.
Yeah.
But that's basically it.
Okay. How do you think drug trafficking affects our country in a negative way?
I think to be very brief, I think there's probably a correlation between the drug trafficking and violence because of the illegalities associated with it.
Okay, and what age groups do you think are most affected by this problem?
I would guess people in the range of 18 to 40 years old.
Okay. And would legalizing any of these drugs do you think it would have a positive impact on our society, or do you think it would lead to more problems?
I think it would do both. I think there would be some positives that could come out from it. So taxes could be implemented on that. Monies could be made by our country as a result of it, but there's the opposite that it could lead to a higher addiction rate, more problems associated with drug-associated deaths. So it could go both ways.
Okay. And besides the taxing of the drugs, do you think there's anything else our government can do to help solve illegal drug trafficking?
I don't know if there's any clear-cut solution to it. So no, I couldn't. I think taxing may be the way to go, but there are going to be problems associated with that too. So I don't think there's any clear-cut way to solve the problem. I think it's going to be something that's going to be that we have to constantly deal with.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Always good to hear from you.